Here at Helmuth Ford, we are a small-town dealership with no hassle and no pressure.
Hi, this is Stacy from Shuttler Insurance Services. Come see me on the east side of the square in Sigourney for all your insurance needs.
Get ready, because Tyler Richardson and the High Bank Boys are coming to Sigourney on Saturday, April 26th at Enchanted Events, 20595 255th Street, just south of Sigourney. Order your tickets online by going to enchantedeventsvenue.com or find the Enchanted Events Facebook page for the ticket links. There are 3 different ticket options: general admission, VIP, or reserve. Doors open at 7 and the cash bar and band starts at 8. It's Tyler Richardson and the High Bank Boys, Saturday, April 26th at Enchanted Events, just south of Sigourney. The band 3 Buck Chuck is coming to the Keswick Tavern this Saturday, April 26th from 8 to 11 p.m. No cover charge. Plus, a special treat this Saturday night are the celebrity bartenders. It's the past 4 owners of the Keswick Tavern: Anthony, Max, Shauna, and Jim. It's going to be a great time this Saturday, April 26th from 8 to 11 p.m. 3 Buck Chuck and the celebrity bartenders live at the Keswick Tavern at 117 South Iron Street in Keswick. Experience Oskaloosa presents Ladies Night Out, Friday, April 25th from 4 to 8 p.m. Ladies, if you're ready for an unforgettable night out, join us for an exciting evening of fun, laughter, and amazing prizes. Hop from one location to the next and enter the drawing at each stop when you make a purchase. Participating stores are Paula J's, Maurice's, Hunky Dory, G&G Pronto, Rosso and Wine, Heritage Salon, Brushed by Jude, Shop Gen Miracle, Studio Oski, Untamed Nutrition, LaRue & Co. Boutique, Hunter's Gift and Coffee Cafe, Stepping Stones Eagle's Nest, Stella's Salon and Boutique at their new location, and Mahaska Drug, which closes at 7. It's Ladies Night Out, Friday, April 25th from 4 to 8 p.m. in downtown Oskaloosa. Go to Experience Oskaloosa Events on Facebook for complete information. The Watch Your Opera House in Watch Your, Iowa presents a tribute to Sir Elton John by David Kaye this Saturday, April 26th from 7 to 9 p.m. Tickets for a tribute to Sir Elton John are $30 for adults, $15 for 18 and under. Purchase at the door or online at watchyouraoperahouse.org. David Kaye rocks Elton's piano, vocal, and costumes, including sparkling eyeglasses. Popcorn, pop, and water will be served during the show, plus Grand Ranch will be serving food and drinks. Get your tickets for the Elton John tribute featuring David Kaye this Saturday at the Watch Your Opera House. Hey, we're back at it again. More real talk here on Steve Shuttler Media, Facebook, and YouTube. We're coming to you live from the Oski Dental Studios. Pastor Aaron Fleming from New Life Community Church in Wellman, Iowa, and myself hanging out with you on a Monday evening. Aaron, what's up? What's going on?
Well, it's good to be with you again, Steve. It's always fun to come down to Sigourney. I think I say this about every other show, but I like driving into this town. It's a great small town feel, small town with plenty of opportunities and nice parks. And
yeah,
I don't know, just giving a shout out to Sigourney. I'm not saying Wellman's not a good town. I love Wellman, and I love New Life Church, and we'd love to have you join us at Parkside Activity Center at 10 o'clock. If you live anywhere close to Wellman and you're looking for a church, give us a try. We'd love to host you on a Sunday morning. We always got a couple of pots of coffee and some creamer out front, so when you get there, you can caffeinate yourself, because you wouldn't want to sleep through the sermon, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I try to be interesting.
Just got to throw things at people every once in a while.
Yeah, and there's stories. I don't know if this is really true, but they say that back in the olden days, like this, back in colonial America days, they would have guys in the church who would have a pole with kind of a wooden hammer on. Have you ever heard this?
No.
There'd be like
They smack you?
a feather attached to one end, like a feather or a squirrel tail, and then the other would have a hammer, kind of like a judge's wooden gavel. And so if you fell asleep in church, the ushers would be able to reach out, and the first time they would kind of tickle you with the feather or the squirrel tail. And if that didn't wake you up, they'd reverse it and give you a rap on the head. And that would...
So don't stay out late on a Saturday night.
I guess not. But you gotta think, back in those days, people, pioneers and settlers and stuff, those people must have just worked till they were dog tired, and then to get to church on Sunday morning and have to sit through a 3-hour sermon or whatever and have some guy clobber you on the head if you fell asleep. Oh my.
Good times.
Good times. Don't you wish you could time travel and live in a different era? I don't.
Nope, I'm good.
I like to read about history, but I know enough about history to value indoor plumbing and stuff like that. So hey, let's dive into the Word here a little bit. We've been in the book of Matthew. We've contemplated a couple of different topics, a couple of themes that run through the whole book. I'm going to refresh our memory on the word mumser, which is this ancient Hebrew word that meant outcast or outsider or illegitimate person. And so the book of Matthew is kind of geared towards, it's like a message to mumsers, people like tax collectors and prostitutes and sinners and these kinds of poor people, the kind of people that seem to be naturally drawn to Jesus. So it's a message of oh man, sometimes I'm not sure if I want to say these words: inclusion, acceptance.
Oh no,
but not
those words.
Like.
I get it. I understand.
Yeah. But let's clarify, because sometimes people are like, oh yeah, Jesus had long hair and sandals. He was a total hippie. Like, he would have been a stoner if he was alive today, and he just included everybody. Like, except for the part where he wasn't a stoner and he was just really kind of always getting in people's faces about sin and hell and stuff.
And flipping an occasional
table. So, yeah, he had this radical inclusion thing going on, but he also had this radical transformation thing going on. So,
amen.
So he'd be like, hey, I want to include you. Do you want to be my follower? And people would be like, yeah, I want to be included, but I don't want to change. And he'd be like, well, we're kind of moving. We're going somewhere. If you're going to follow me, there's going to be things you're going to have to leave behind. And for some people, that was a position of wealth and power. And for some people, that was a mentality of, I'm a loser, I'm no good. And those people would also have to change if they were going to follow Jesus. And I think if Jesus was around today and he was around stoners, he would say, if you're going to follow me, you're going to have to quit being a stoner, because that's not where I'm going. Yep. And, it could take a while to break habits and stuff like that. And I think Jesus is understanding and patient. But come on, let's go somewhere. Yeah. So there is this radical inclusion of mumsers in the kingdom of heaven. But last week, we also looked at this dynamic where Jesus was saying your outlook on life, whether you have a heavenly outlook or an earthly outlook, is gonna determine what your spirit and your emotions and everything. So if your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. Just like if you got good headlights on your car, you're going to see clearly to move forward, because we're not just stoners including each other at stoner parties. How many times can I say stoner in one episode, Steve?
Stoner parties. Hey, Aaron, I think somebody's having a stoner party.
A stoner party.
You want to go be a stoner?
Yeah, man, I'm going to grow my hair out and wear sandals like Jesus. Now, being like Jesus is not about having long hair and a beard and wearing a robe, oh, boy. So here's the thing. This is real. When you are an outsider your whole life, you begin to feel powerless. And that makes sense, because it's very powerful to be connected to to people in general, but being connected to powerful people tends to make you more powerful. I know this is a hot topic, and I'm not trying to get political, but maybe we will a little bit because it's real talk. I was reading an article about the work Elon Musk is doing with Doge, and they started looking at Congress people and saying how is it that you got a congressperson who earns like $178,000 a year, and all of a sudden they've got a net worth of $20 million.
Yep.
And when you look at the statistics, it's both parties, and that's why I can happily say this is not about politics. This is not about Republican or Democrat, but and regardless of how you feel about all the work that Doge is doing, like, this is a good question. Mm-hmm. How is it that people making $178,000 a year have a net worth of $20 million? Now, maybe they come in rich, right? Lots of Congress people are lawyers or, so maybe they were rich beforehand, but it's really all about connections, isn't it?
Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Oil, pharmaceuticals, defense contracts.
Yep.
And even if you weren't trying to do insider trading, you might hear some things just because you're connected. So connections to powerful people make you powerful. Connections to wealthy people usually make you wealthy. Here's another statistic unrelated to politics. It says that a study on people who are involved in sororities and fraternities in college, on average, it will lower your GPA by like 0.25. So it'll turn an A student into a B student, basically, and a B student into a C student. But people who go to fraternities and sororities end up having an income that's like 36% higher than people who don't. Why? Connection. So if you have been an outcast your whole life, you're probably going to feel powerless in a lot of ways. And guess what? Until Jesus shows up, you kind of are. So this idea that our outlook, and whether or not we're like this disconnected mumser person, and hey, spiritually speaking, every single one of us has been an outcast from heaven. Our sin has made us a spiritual outcast. So whether or not you're kind of a bum or a loser, or you're kind of, maybe you're seen in your community as a winner, you have been a spiritual outcast, whether you know it or not. So with those thoughts in mind, we're going to go and look back at this section of Matthew where I'm gonna just pick a couple of pieces out of chapter 5. So Jesus is going to say some things like this. For I tell you that unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and teachers of the law, you will certainly not enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoa. That's kind of mind-blowing, because the Pharisees and the teachers of the law, like, they were super righteous. They were not stoners. Like, they had...
Yeah.
Just had to bring up stoners again. Is there like... Is there like some internet search thing where they're looking for radio shows that talk about stoners all the time? Are we going to...
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome. But no, like if you read that can be a big uh-oh moment, because those guys really had it together. And if I have to be more righteous, but see, that's a worldly perspective. A heavenly perspective, what it is it's a perspective of lack. I don't have enough righteousness inside of me. I don't have it all together. I have sinned. I have these dark, evil thoughts. We'll start talking about thoughts in just a moment. But the heavenly perspective is not, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're too evil, you've sinned too much. The heavenly perspective is that Jesus has made provision for your salvation. His blood on the cross is sufficient to wipe out all of your sin. And so if your spiritual perspective is to start to look at the provision of heaven instead of the lack of earth, whoa, that starts to get empowering. Come on, preach it, Brother Aaron.
Amen.
I don't actually preach like that. If you're watching this and wondering if I'd I don't actually, except for every once in a while, just for fun. So there you go. That's righteousness. Next, murder. Jesus said, "You have heard that it was said to people long ago, 'Do not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment.' But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother will be subject to judgment." Oh, man. Think about this again, Steve. When you feel angry, do you feel powerful?
I guess, yeah.
I mean, like the rage kind of makes you...
Makes you feel, "Rah, I can take on the world."
Right. But
What?
then...
I can tell I'm not answering this the way you want me to.
Oh, shoot. Man, I try not to ask leading questions, but then I do. Well, think about it this way, though. What if you know that your anger is going to make you do something stupid?
Yeah.
And you wish that you didn't feel angry?
Yeah.
But
your power, you're giving power to the anger instead of yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just me deep thinking right now.
Well, there you go. That's what real talk is all about.
Yeah.
Deep thinking. I think a lot of times when I feel angry, I feel overwhelmed.
Okay.
And there's nothing that I can do about this situation, and so I get angry, and then I start to look for ways to break things or hurt people, and anger can feel really overwhelming. Oh, the next topic. This is a really fun one. Adultery. You've heard that it was... are you cheering for adultery?
Yeah, boo.
Boo. There we go. You have heard that it was said, "Do not commit adultery." But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Oh, that's an uncomfortable one, isn't it? And I think as guys, we feel kind of powerless. Like somebody once said to me that to men, women are like flowers. Like they're pretty, and this is just a really big area where I don't know what I'm trying to say here. This is awkward, Steve.
Hey, you brought it up.
I brought it up. I didn't bring it up. Jesus brought it up. Here it is. And so we can see some cultures where they get really intense about this, and they try to deal with this like men are so out of control that we have to put women in burqas and completely cover their bodies because men are just animals, they just can't control themselves. And so we have to, I guess down here in Sigourney, there's some Amish moving in, and up in Wellman and Kelowna we have a lot of Amish, and in those communities too. Like, okay, we're going to solve the problem of lust and adultery by putting everybody in the most plain dumpy outfits that we can possibly, because we're just out of control, so we have to cover everything up with these plain dumpy dresses. It's powerlessness. The next topic Jesus comes up with here is divorce. He's really sticking it to us in this passage. It has been said that anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you, and so like, I think a lot of times when marriages start to break down, why is it? It's because we feel powerless. And we're like, this woman is so aggravating, and I don't know how to change her. And you know what I mean? Like, There we go. One more section. You have heard that it was said, "Love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Well, that's impossible. Like, my enemies are bad.
That's why they're your enemy.
Exactly. And how on earth am I going to be able to love people who are my enemies? And this just seems impossible from a perspective of powerlessness. So, I don't know. We're deep into it here, Steve. Mm-hmm. Man, I think we're going to have to wrap up just for the sake of time. But I think we've touched on enough here to get everybody that's listening to us in touch with the fact that it's really easy to look at the world from a sense of powerlessness. Whether it's what's going on in your neighborhood or what's going on in Washington, D.C. or halfway across the world. But Jesus is inviting us to quit sitting around at our stoner parties. Had to get that in one more time. Quit sitting around at your stoner parties feeling powerless. And hey, let's talk about marijuana for a little bit. I said we were almost done, but like, why do we want to smoke marijuana? Because we feel powerless to feel good about life without lighting up a doobie. You know what I mean?
Doobies and stoner parties.
That's the word of the day, doobie. You know, let's smoke a little doobage. Because we don't know how else to feel happy. So anyway, Jesus is coming along and saying, I got a different perspective for you. There are other solutions to the problems of the world than blundering around leaving roaches behind, you know? So... I'm just trying to show off my extensive knowledge of terminology for marijuana. Actually, I have about tapped myself out. We really better wrap this up before people have questions that can't be answered.
Dude, this has been a great show.
This has been a great show. Yeah.
Can you hand me the Cheetos? What a show.
What a show. All right, we're going to sign off here. I'm Aaron. That's Steve. We've been a little silly today, but we've been a little serious too. So, hey, leave us a comment or a question in the comments section. Give us a like. Give us a follow or a share. And we'll see you all around soon, I think.
All right. And again, we do thank New Life Community Church in Wellman for being our headline sponsor on this video. We'll do more Real Talk coming up next Monday here on Steve Shetler Media.